So I was saving up for the new Switch Pro, but then they decided that they just wanted to make the screen a little bit bigger and turn it into an OLED or whatever. So I bought a boat instead. Hello everyone, Johnny Hurricane here from GamersHeroes.com, and today we will of course be talking about the Switch upgrade, if you want to call it that, which everyone else will be talking about as well. And yeah, we got ourselves a pontoon boat. It does work, but the engine's way too loud to be running while we're recording. Got an anchor, but we'll get out on the water some other time, not today. So let's talk about the new Switch, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, Switch better screen mode with a LAN, which is great. All right, so obviously there's been a lot of rumors. It's also very hot today. Been a lot of rumors about the Switch Pro, or whatever you want to call it, the Super Switch that had 4K and was going to be all fancy and everything. And everyone was like, this is the reason every single game out there has been delayed. No Metroid Prime 4, no Bayonetta 3, Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be a showpiece. You know, there's so many different things that this Pro version of the Switch was going to fix. And now we have this one that's got a slightly bigger screen, a better screen granted, and it has an Ethernet port, which the base model should have came with the Ethernet port, so that's what it is. Obviously people are not too happy about this. I don't see why you would be happy about this unless you don't have a Switch and you like to play handheld, in which case you can be happy about it. But this is designed to replace the base model Switch, I'm sure, but we kind of have a problem where these insiders, these leakers, you know, like Jason Schreier, coming out and be like, well, everyone's making 4K, so everyone gets it in their head that Nintendo's making a 4K Switch. It doesn't happen, and now everyone's like, wow, why did we even bother? Well, I mean, there is still profit to be made. Obviously, there's a lot of different issues going on with production, so this should help them get more Switches out. It is going to be a little bit more pricey, but they've had issues keeping Switches on the shelf since the pandemic's begun. I don't think this is the right move, but this is kind of what Nintendo does. You got to remember that when the Wii came out, it wasn't even in HD. I mean, they never had an HD Wii. That's why all the games that were on the Wii, they got to be up. I mean, long-term thinking, it was great because you can then upgrade everything into HD, and you know, you make more money because Nintendo sells everything that they already sold to you for $60 more. Well, maybe 70, who knows? But so there's that. The Wii U obviously had the gamepad, which could not really be all that far from the Wii U, so that was another like, I mean, we all know the Wii U ended. Then the Switch, which we were all kind of waiting for more powerful dock, and then they did the handheld Switch, Switch Lite, which successful. And now it kind of seems like they're sticking more towards the mobile aspect of it, the handheld aspect, not mobile. Which their company is obviously very, very, very successful with, the DS, 3DS, Game Boy, yada yada. They're the only ones that have really been able to do it. So they're moving towards this. I don't think it's the right call. Obviously they've got the numbers, I don't. And it should, I still think it's gonna sell. Probably like 15 million to be real with you, because there's still a lot of people that don't have a Switch, and then of course there's that core audience that's just gonna gobble up whatever the hell Nintendo throws at them, which is gonna be that. I hope it doesn't sell that great. I hope it kind of sends a message to Nintendo that like, yeah, that's not gonna work. But the dock does come with a LAN port, which is pretty important for online play, so it's gonna sell just because of that. I didn't actually look if you could just get a new dock and then put it, I wonder, if you get the new dock and you put your old Switch in it, if it'll work. Knowing Nintendo, probably not, but doesn't mention anything about the Joy-Con drift, by the way, which has been a problem. I use my Pro controller now, but I was playing golf. I was playing Mario Golf, and I was playing it with the handheld controls, or the motion controls, and I noticed I now have drift. I never use those things, by the way. I don't know how I have drift, but apparently I have drift, so that's not getting fixed. That being said, I wouldn't be too worried about this. I still think there's a Switch Pro coming. As I mentioned before, Bayonetta 3, Metroid Prime 4, even Breath of the Wild, whatever the next Xenoblade is going to be. There's stuff coming up that really does benefit from more powerful hardware. The other thing is, of course, that third-party developers, you know what they really like doing? They really like working on underpowered systems to make games for that system that really don't even sell all that well because only Nintendo versions sell on the thing. So you know, it's a thing that you need to upgrade up into the next level for Nintendo, or else third-party developers, unless you are paying them specifically, like you pay Capcom for Monster Hunter Rise, it's going to be a lot harder to get those games to run on the Switch. It's already pretty hard for a lot of these games, but if you have a 4K Switch, you at least have a shot at it. So I wouldn't be too worried. I'm pretty sure there is a, it's probably a 22 or 23 version. This might just be realistically all they can get done right now. They know the production, they know the manufacturing, they know that like, hey, chip shortages are real. If we try and put out a Switch Pro, we're probably not going to be able to get that many models out. So they're just going to wait it out. Switch, Super Switch, we'll call it. It's definitely going to be coming, so don't fret about that too much. I don't know how much it's going to be, but I think this one's $350. The normal Switch is $300. As I said, they're probably phasing out the other Switch, and this will replace it, and then they'll drop it $50 and be like, hey, look, we're the heroes, but it's not how that works. But anyways, they're going to be looking to sell more units as per usual. The LED screen, I saw a funny little post by a meme Twitter that said like, oh yeah, you know what I really needed was that extra 0.8 inches of screen on my handheld mode. I was like, exactly, I don't get it. I don't play my Switch in handheld. For those that do, maybe you could explain it to me. Is it really that bad? I mean, it's not the screen. I don't think it's the screen that's the issue. I just think that the optimization towards handheld mode is not. It's not as good. It just isn't. I remember Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Man, that was nope. That was when I stopped playing. I still play my indie games on there, but anything that's like AAA, it seems like it's mainly designed to be on the TV. I don't do handheld. It always looks so crap. But anyways, why are they doing this? Well, that's just what Nintendo does. This is probably what they can get done right now. They know they can get a good amount of units out, which it's releasing in October, so they can get a lot of units out before holiday, or at least a good amount of units, because I imagine they're expecting to sell a lot of Switches at holiday, which would not surprise me. It's still really hard to find a PlayStation 5. It's still going to be very hard at holiday, most likely. So they'll sell a lot of Switches, sell a lot of these OLED Switches, and their Switch lights. So they're gonna make a killing in the holiday. This is just not the Switch that we want. And yes, as I said, it is of course, as always, about the money. They gotta have something new to sell during the holidays, because they don't really have. They've got a couple of games, but this new hardware, it's difficult to call new hardware because they've already mentioned that there's no internal stuff. Like there's not a new GPU, no new RAM, no nothing. It's gonna run the same. It's just gonna have a bigger screen and an Ethernet port. So I don't know. It's not my thing, but like I said, they're gonna make money on it. Gotta remember, these guys made Labo, which was literally freaking cardboard, and they sold that. So that's just what they do. Nintendo knows best, as we all know, with the Wii U and all of that business. Yay. I'm really convinced they need a Switch Pro because of that new Pokemon game, that Aquarius or whatever it is, that open world Pokemon game. The wind's blowing like right now, probably right onto the mic. Let me shield that up. They just, I don't know, they don't look like they're running good on the current Switch, and Nintendo has to see that. They simply can't ignore it. So we'll see. I imagine by the end of next year we'll have more rumors of the Switch Pro or Super Switch, and then we'll see a release maybe 2023. Depends on how well this OLED. Don't buy this one if you want a Switch Pro. Got to send a message with your wallet. If you don't buy the damn thing, they're not going to be worried about making that. They're going to make an upgraded version of the Switch. So that's what's going to happen. If you want a new Switch, a Switch Pro, don't buy this piece of junk. Well, you know what I mean. Buy a new one. Or don't buy a new one. Wait until the Pro comes out, the Super Switch, and you'll be good to go. Because, as I said, they've got to have something in the works there. And, of course, all these other guys got all their new consoles out, so Nintendo wants to be like, hey, look, we got one too. I'm not excited for this. You shouldn't be excited for this. The only reason you should be excited for this is if you spend a lot of time sitting down on a train or on a plane or wherever you need to play handheld mode a lot. And even then, you shouldn't be that excited because, yeah, the screen's going to be better, but it ain't that much bigger. So there's that. All right, that'll do it for me. I don't know. I saw this today, and I'm not really on one side of the fence the other. I would prefer a Switch Pro, a Super Switch, but I don't play anything on my Switch outside of mainly Nintendo games, so it's whatever. As long as those run fine, I'm cool. And as I said, I'm pretty sure a Super Switch is coming. So anyways, if you liked what you saw, got what you needed, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Later, Gators.